Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. Well, in the pre-market this morning, things are fairly quiet so far. Stock index futures are currently trading above fair value. Now, we do have initial jobless claims coming out at 8:30 this morning, and that could certainly change the mood of the market. So far, commodities are mixed, with crude oil up slightly while gold is down $5 in the pre-market. Let's start off looking at bonds, and the 30-year bond closed higher yesterday. Bond yields were down yesterday. Now, what's interesting and what's supportive for higher stock prices is the risk-on trade is still on. Money is going into high-risk areas of the bond market, whether it's emerging markets or the junk bond market. They all moved higher on Wednesday, and that is supportive for higher stock prices. We still have the VIX on a sell signal. Now, things would change on Thursday if the VIX were to close above 2033. Now, looking at the major U.S. indices, the Dow closed slightly higher yesterday. There's the S&P 500. I believe that's the fourth highest close in history. And there's the NASDAQ 100 up slightly yesterday. We're trying to get it over 484.38. Got as high as 484.37 yesterday. So hopefully you had an order in just below that level and got filled. If we can take out the 484.38 level, then $500 does come into play. There is an open gap over here that could certainly act as a potential target and an area of resistance. Looking at the Russell 2000, it bounced off the 212.50 level yesterday. So that open gap has been filled, so it's no longer in play. 218.75 is our next target to the upside. Now, what worked yesterday? Well, consumer discretionary was the big winner, and following consumer staples, which has been on a tear over the past week or so. Then we had the material sector moving up nicely yesterday. What didn't work? Well, financials pulled back, and maybe we're going to put in a triple top here. Who knows? But so far, we still have the financials trading and closing above the 43.75 level. Looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin is back on a buy signal as of Wednesday's close. Ethereum still on a sell signal, no change in trend there. Then looking at the Canadian market, well, there's the Vanguard Canada ETF. Very quiet trading day on Wednesday. There's the iShares for the TSX 60, also having a quiet day, inside day there. 35.16 is our target at the moment. We closed at 35.17 yesterday. If we could take out the recent high, then 35.55 is our next target to the upside. What's working? Well, the bank stocks are still on a buy signal here. TD Bank is out with earnings this morning, and I think they may disappoint, but we'll have to see how the market reacts. Then looking at the energy sector, we're back on a sell signal as of Wednesday's close. And then gold stocks closed slightly higher yesterday, did not take out the previous day's high, so 33.44, we're still stuck to that level. We closed at 33.50 yesterday. If we can take out Tuesday's high, then $25 could come into play. Now, looking at the venture exchange, it's moved up nicely, so it's nice to see the venture exchange move up. That is the risk-on trade, and so that could be healthy for the markets going forward. Now, what worked yesterday? Well, it was actually real estate and infotech were the big winners yesterday. There's real estate, infotech continued to move higher. Now, industrials are in the news right now, with both CN and CP being affected by the strike that started. But certainly the market doesn't seem to be spooked or concerned at all about the potential effect of the strike. Moving on to commodity ETFs, we had crude oil continued to move lower yesterday, so it's so far holding the recent low. Gasoline, of course, has not held the recent low, and that, of course, is good for consumers. Natural gas still on a buy signal here, no change in trend. No change in trend for the GLD. It moved down slightly yesterday. We had a reversal for palladium, but it's still on a buy signal. Platinum continued to move higher, trying to take out the high from a couple of weeks ago. And then silver made a new closing high for this move, but didn't take out the previous day's high. Next up, we'll take a look at the most actively traded stocks from Wednesday's trading action. Starting off with NVIDIA, had an inside day on Wednesday. We had a big rollover for JD.com. It is still on a buy signal here. That did not change. Looking for a close on Thursday below $26.61. No change in trend for Tesla. No change in trend for Intel, looking for a close on Thursday above $20, $21.47. It closed at $21.41. So it just might walk its way into a buy signal. Again, it's not a stock I'm interested in. There's Ford still on a buy signal, no change there. An inside day yesterday for AMD. Then we had a pullback yesterday for SoFi, still on a buy signal. Looking at Palantir, we closed slightly higher yesterday, certainly no change in trend. There's a new buy signal for Marathon. So we've got Bitcoin, we've got Marathon back on buy signals. Then looking at Lucid, we're back on a buy signal as of Wednesday's close. Target, which was the big mover in the pre-market yesterday, popped higher, closed basically at the low of the day, but a nice big pop for Target. At the same time Target was going up, Macy's rolled over and it is back on a sell signal as of Wednesday's close. Let's finish off this morning's presentation taking a look at the TSX most actives, and in the number one position was Canadian Natural Resources. If we close down 4 cents today, that would give us a new daily sell signal. We've got Suncor already on a sell signal. We've got Enbridge still treading water here in the channel. Looking for a close on Thursday below $52.83 to give us a new daily sell signal. Caliper Mining shot higher, up over 7% on Wednesday. New high for this move for Sun Life. Looks like we want to go up and fill that open gap. Bitfarms still on a sell signal. Things would change on Thursday with a close above $3.29. No joy for Baytech, back on a sell signal as of Wednesday's close. TD Bank closed higher yesterday, but it's out with earnings today, and so far the impression is not good. In New York, we're down over 4% in the pre-market, and if that's the way it would close this afternoon, that would give us a daily sell signal. But of course, what happens in the pre-market is not real life. You certainly need to wait for the market to open to get some real sense of what's going on, and of course, we don't want to take action until we see the closing price at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Looking at Manulife, we traded down to the lower channel line yesterday, but ended the day just down 5 cents. So looking for a close on Thursday below $34.90 to give us a sell signal for Manulife. That's forming a pretty ugly chart right now. There's a high, a lower high, and could that be the lower high? We'll just have to wait and see, but that is not a pretty picture. And then last up this morning, looking at Barrick, our big number was 28.13. The high of the day yesterday was 28.13. If we can take out Tuesday's high, then 29.69 does come into play. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Waiting for those numbers to come out at 8:30. Otherwise, the market is trading higher in the pre-market so far. Enjoy the rest of your day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Friday morning.